So I've been making YouTube videos for 7 years now, and I've also been streaming on Twitch for the same amount of time. I've had videos on YouTube that have had 1 million views and had some of the most epic feedback from you guys, the community. I've had streams on Twitch which have had over 10,000 viewers, I think peaking at 14,000, which hit Twitch front page. And so each time when I'm trying to think of what I can do next, how can I make some kind of really cool event, or maybe I can try and just increase the quality of my content, I always go back and I try and think about what have been my favorite moments so that I can either recreate more of these or alternatively I can try and one-up them. Quite often when people ask me, what is your favorite moment inside your content creation history? World of Tanks history, let's call it that. And it still has to be signing up in a platoon with Jingles, aka Paul, inside TOGS and encouraging the community to do the same thing and managing to get 24 TOGS, as you can see from this video, inside a single game of World of Tanks. And so, Tankfest, it was last weekend. I had an absolute pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much to the hundreds of you who queued for so long to come to the meet and greets. It was my absolute pleasure. You're all so lovely, respectful. It was truly my pleasure to be able to meet all of you. And at Tankfest, I was thinking, what can I do? What can I do for the community? Here I am, just a muppet on YouTube. What can I actually do? We use my position and my relationship with wargaming to try and create something real fun for you. And I had an idea. Why don't I try and one-up the one game, 24 TOGs, by giving away 10,000 TOG rentals and getting everybody to sign up at the same time? And yeah, I think I'll just leave it to my live reaction as to how successful it was. 2, 1. Okay, it's TOG o'clock, boys. It's TOG o'clock. Okay, how many? 520? How many? I did it! 30 TOGs! 30 TOGs! Oh, it's a dream! It's a dream! 30 TOGs! Oh my god! Oh my god, this is it! This is the best game! And so yes, ladies and gentlemen, I was completely stoked. And you can see me just jumping back into my chair there and swinging the mouse around. So darn excited that I had created, in my opinion, the perfect game of World of Tanks. 15 TOGs versus 15 TOGs. And on the very first try, I managed to get into one of the games myself. Now, we actually did this every 15 minutes for a whole hour, which of course what the code was, right? TOG o'clock, to be able to get yourself one of the rentals. Of course, it's all used up now. Sorry about that, you'd have to be there at the time. And as I announced it on YouTube and also on Twitch and Facebook, keep an eye out. I'm definitely going to want to try and do something in the future like this, but I'm not sure if I'm ever going to be able to top this one, right? Just this sheer excitement for me. It was one of the best feelings ever. The idea that there's enough crazy people out there who would want to try and do this with me, and just the absolute banter in the chat and seeing everybody's reactions to it was also fantastic as well. Everybody's so excited, and I had so many lovely messages as well with people saying, oh, this was the best thing I've ever done, right, inside World of Tanks. Not specifically for me, although it was for me, but they got the same kind of feeling as well. So, TOGs. Now, this was actually the hilarious thing. Pretty much because I know what everyone signed up in a TOG, I know that they're all watching my stream, right? And so I was able to tell the enemy team not what to do, but like I would be able to relay them what our plan was so that we could try and meet in the middle. So I told the enemy team and also my team as well, let's just go into the middle, boys, and have a good old TOG standoff. We don't want to try and flank, we don't want to try and cap, we want to try and kill each other and may the best TOG win. But one thing I did not expect is just how fat the TOG is. Look at this! I'm getting up on my side right now. I'm actually going to end up on top of the TOG to my right, Dark Messiah, and we end up hemorrhaging hit points. Oh dear. Before I've even made it into the front lines, I've already lost 500 hit points, and Dark Messiah has as well. I've still got 876 hit points though. So even though I've lost a third of them, I've pretty much got more hit points than any tier 6 heavy tank will have as well. So that's pretty wild. So the TOG. If any of you haven't really heard about this vehicle, what is it? Well, it's a tier 6 British premium heavy tank that is just meme material, right? It has a tier 7 heavy tank gun at tier 6 with preferential matchmaking, so you never have to meet tier 8 opponents. And oh dear, apologies to you, Mighty Oddball, for shooting you in the chat, and I think I say sorry right up there as well. But the TOG
with this Black Prince gun at tier 6, it's actually a pretty decent gun. It's DPM at 1800. If you sit in front of the TOG for long enough, you are not going to trade very well. But of course, the most impressive thing about the vehicle are those 1400 hit points, right? You got more than enough hit points to do whatever you want. You can take down multiple tanks. If you get yourself into a good matchup against tier 4 or tier 5 vehicles, literally there could be 3 of them all shooting you at the same time, and you're probably going to be able to deal with the 3 tanks faster as long as you start on with all of your hit points intact before they're able to shut you down. You're going to take them out, which is absolutely ridiculous. And to have all of these tanks, oh my word, I just can't. Look at that! When I turned around, I think I freaked out. The fact that all the TOGs are lining up. Ladies and gents, this is just an absolute thing of beauty for me. Can you believe this? Look at this action. And when you think about it, TOG synergizes very well with other TOGs, because you can manage to get your turret over the hull, and the hull is so long that you can use it for cover. So coming around the corner like that is just absolutely glorious. But unfortunately for us, our team is not doing so well. Down by 2 TOGs, down by 3 TOGs, down by 4 TOGs. Oh dear, gonna have to watch out for this. And we've lost a number of hit points. But I just remembered, while I might be a little bit inexperienced in the TOG these days compared to what I used to when I was playing with Ike and with Jingles in a platoon, back when we were playing together every single week, which is some of my favorite times in World of Tanks history as well, I remembered, hold on, TOG, considering how it's got a front-mounted turret and it's a very long hull, if you actually side-scrape in this thing, it is pretty darn gnarly. Look what the enemies will be seeing from their position here when I'm side-scraping in my TOG. From this position, the whole of the side of my tank is very well angled and it'll be an auto ricochet. So unless they hit me in the turret right about here, and even sometimes if they miss, sometimes this can actually pull off a bounce, although not that often, then you're going to do very well. And the TOG, it just looks like it should almost be designed like this, right? It kind of looks like some kind of Chrysler at tier 8 when you position the vehicle like that. How just absolutely ridiculous. Oh my word, I just love it. You guys are going to have to tell me in the suggestions, well, not in the suggestions, suggest in the comments down below if I was ever able to convince Wargaming that this was a good idea again. What tank should we do it with next time? Well, the best suggestion I might be able to make happen. Who knows? Possibly, although no promises. Alright, so TOG's going down to the left, TOG's going down to the right, and it looks like the enemy are trying to pincer us right now. They're approaching from the west and they're also approaching from the south, and we're trying to focus our fire and shut down one of the flanks to hope that we can break out one side of the pincer. Although, even if you do break out in the TOG, you're only going at 13 kilometers an hour, so it doesn't usually work out too well for you either way. Alright, so that TOG is now down to 1 shot, and Wargear, 4 on my team, shuts him down. Is Wargear going to get a double kill? He is indeed. Wargear is on 4 kills now, leaving up to the number in his name. Alright, so it's starting to look a bit more even. Although the Mighty Oddball falls, I feel a little bit bad that I put one into the Mighty Oddball myself. The 1st Marine Ranger on the enemy team is the one that shuts him down. 1st Marine Ranger's doing a good job as well, up to 5 kills. And it looks like, oh no, the premium rounds are coming out now. Oh, it's serious. We're going to have to watch out. How are we going to handle the amount of premium rounds on the enemy team? And the premium rounds on this vehicle are absolutely ridiculous. 239mm of penetration at tier 6. Considering this vehicle can only meet tier 7s, that's enough to go through the front of everything. And pretty much also sometimes the turret armor of vehicles that you shouldn't be able to penetrate. Alright, now one of the coolest things about the TOG is just its ability to hold a position. Sure, it doesn't go very quickly, but once you actually get the side-scraping meta in this vehicle, we should be able to do some great things. Hawk tried to manage to flank us there, but we shut him down. But unfortunately, the TOG on the enemy team manages to put a good one into, who's on my left? Is that Calidor? Caldalor. And so Caldalor, while he does manage to return fire into the enemy TOG, he's now down to a 1-shot. So maybe we can manage to put some pressure on him. Although if the TOG rolls high, I too am a 1-shot here. Although with 150 alpha damage, that will have to be a very high roll for this vehicle, plus 15%. Oh dear, TOG comes round, and it looks like the enemy TOG is actually firing high explosive rounds there, because it does 190, but it gets blocked in my armor. Good stuff. Yeah, you don't really want to be firing too many rounds of high explosive in the TOG unless you're shooting at very lightly armored targets, because you're only really doing 40 extra damage, and 38mm of pen is still not quite enough for the majority of plates that you're going to be shooting at. So I'm feeling pretty chipper right now. I'm up to 1,900 damage. I've managed to do a TOG and a bit. and I'm just hoping that I can manage to get a shot into the hull here of that TOG-2. But oh dear, looks like the high explosive rounds are actually doing pretty good now, as the TOG-2 on the enemy team, Slobber, manages to reduce my hit points now to a one-shot. I'm hoping I can manage to shoot through this gap. Slobber comes around the corner, he does 1 damage to me with the HE round. If he was firing AP right now, he would probably be able to finish me off. But my rounds just aren't going where I want them to. And unfortunately, this rocket right here, I don't know what this is all about. It's kind of blocking my vision a little bit. Oh dear, so Cursor actually shuts down War Gear. Where is Cursor going to be to shut down War Gear? Okay, well, War Gear pings on the map to let us know that he was towards the central part. But I've still got to try and turn my attention towards whatever we can here coming down this alleyway. Oh no, and that's not what you want to see, boys and girls. A full health TOG at this stage of the game. Cursor, what were you doing, buddy? How come you were on 4 kills right now and you haven't taken any damage? He must have been shooting people in the side. Was he at the edges of the maps, sneaking in shots, and then coming in and putting 2 rounds into me and Kaldahor as well? Oh, well. But you know what? As Jingles always said when we play together, you know, TOG always wins, right? But the funny thing is that when Paul was saying that, when we were playing together, he was kind of joking that TOG always wins because it's such a fun vehicle to play, right? So even if you kind of die in the TOG, it doesn't matter because you got to play the TOG. But in this case, when you can have the perfect game of TOGs, yeah, the TOG always wins, right? So while it wasn't a victory here for me, I just had so much darn fun for this event. In fact, I think out of all the 4 games, I lost every single one of them. Probably because our team was kind of just messing around and all blobbing up and driving in one direction, where I felt like the enemy team, but they tried to flank us and try and play a little bit more smart. Doesn't look like I'm the best TOG leader, right, ladies and gents? Nevertheless, a stunning profit, with or without a premium account. And a big shout out to, Hawk on the enemy team for that 2,900 damage, and War Gear for 4 kills, and C-Bar for being the top damage dealer on our team. It was all in all a fantastic event. Yeah, first Marine Ranger as well. I got to give a shout out to you for a top gun. I guess you were the top TOG here, right, buddy? So yeah. So ladies and gents, that was 15 versus 15 TOG action, 30 TOGs in a single game. A massive thank you to everyone who tuned into Twitch and signed up along with me. I hope you guys got to enjoy the 10,000 TOG rentals that I gave away. And also massive thank you to Wargaming for making an event like this possible. I hope it didn't mess up your matchmaker too much or put too much pressure on the servers when everybody was trying to sign up. We all got into our games pretty much like that, so I can't see like there was hopefully not too much damage done. And I'd love to do something like this again. So as I mentioned through the video, ladies and gents, if you've got a specific tank that you would like to be recreated in some kind of a rental code for an event, possibly at maybe Gamescom in a couple of months, right? Oh my lord, wait a minute, it's July next month. Then let me know in the comments down below. Anyway, that's it for today, ladies and gents. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you give the video a thumbs up, but if you hated it, give it a video a thumbs down. And if you're watching this video as it's released on Sunday, it's time for another World of Tanks Tech Tree Showcase on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And considering that the WZ-111 5A is top of the tree, I'm going to showcase it right now. And so come along as I work my way from tier 1 to tier 10 so that you can see if the Chinese tier 10 well-rounded heavy tank is worth grinding, or alternatively, if you already have the vehicles, maybe you can pick up a few tips and tricks along the way. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing as many of you as possible right now on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And yeah, just once again, thank you all. I'm truly lucky to be able to do what I do. And just the fact that you guys make events like this possible, and meeting so many of you at Tankfest as well. I truly am lucky to do what I do, and it's my absolute pleasure to try and interact with the community as much as I can. And I'm going to really try to use this momentum, that's a horrible way of saying it, that I've built up to try and organize more funds like this. More funds like this? Are you going to speak English? More fun events like this. All right.